This program is related to the books database where we are going to enter the data through the text boxes, the title, author and publisher, and once we click on the submit button, it has to go to the PHP page and it has to store the information into the database, and also it has to show us one user friendly statement saying that record has been added. Click on this. So one record added. So this is your first part of the program. The second program consists like one more text box here, and once I click on the submit button after entering the title of the book, it has to search and show me a table pattern, all the records with that particular title that we will see later after understanding this. So before proceeding to the code of the PHP, we will see that what are the things required from the database. So here by show databases, we can see the list of the databases already present, that is test. I am trying to use the existing one of the database, that is use test, and creating a table with the name books and title, author, publisher are the columns in that, and trying to insert one particular information and check that whether it has been inserted or not. First, create a database and one table and check that whether it is working properly or not. Then go with the coding part. So this is the HTML file where we have created 3 text boxes, and every text box will be having a name, so that we will come to know which text box data has to store into which particular column of the table. So here, not to get confused, for the text boxes and the columns we had given the same names, but we should know which title is what. So these are what we had given the title. This is the text box name. After clicking on the submit button, it has to go to the php insert.php. So action attribute has to be specified. And remember what method you are giving here. According to that, the method in the PHP is going to change. So we are using the post method. This is the code for the insertion. So page has been started with the HTML tag. PHP code has been embedded within the HTML. And angular bracket question mark PHP is the starting line of any PHP program. Here we are having that. Then the next is we are supposed to connect to the database. The database is having the username as root and the password is nothing. So within the double quotes, we are not supposed to give even the space as it doesn't have any password. And the test is the database name what we have chosen in the MySQL. As we are opening this with the localhost, the first parameter is localhost. We are using all these 3 parameters by the method mysql i_connect and storing in an object $con. If this not able to happen, that means whether I might have given the wrong password or the wrong username or the localhost spelling is wrong or the database name is wrong, then it is going to show me an error using the die. The method mysql i_error we are going to use, and from where I am going to get that error is from this particular object. And what is the command we are trying to execute is insert. We are taking the information from the text boxes and inserting that information into the books table. The books table is having 3 columns, title, author and publisher, and the values is a part of the insert command. And as we have used the method post in the HTML, here if you remember, so in the PHP we are using $_post which should be in capital. If we are using get method, then here it will be $_ get and this is the text box name what we have specified it here, and this title is the column name which we have mentioned in the database. Not to get confused, we had given both the places same. Otherwise, we should remember that these are the inputs what we are taking from the text box. So the text box will be having some name. That name we are supposed to specify here. And this are the column names in the table database from the database. Now, this has been stored in the object $SQL. Command is there here, connection is there here. We have to interlink these two by using MySQL I_query. So this method is having two parameters. One is the connection and the second is the query which you want to execute. If it executed, we are trying to show one record added. If it is not executed, that means connection could not happen or any mistake in the SQL query, then we are going to show an error with the die statement. As the work gets over, close the connection. This is the insert part. Hope you understood till here. Now we proceed with the second part of the HTML, that we are supposed to create one text box. I have the code already here. Just copy that and paste it. So a text box has been created with regard to the search for the book with respect to the title. And the name I had given here also as title. Once I click on the submit button, it goes to the page php result.php. And the method, the same method I am using, that is the post method. We try to execute once again here. It appears like this after adding a record. So search for a particular book. Click on the submit query. As the page doesn't exist, now I haven't created. So it is showing you as an error that php result.php was not found on the server. So let us create one more file, that is php result.php. Give the name and has to be stored in the HTML folder. Now we will see whether any code can be the same compared to the insert.php and the result.php. The first line HTML body PHP, it will be the same, and as we are connecting to the database, this also will be the same, and till this object name I can copy, and the query is going to change because we are selecting from the database this time, not inserting. So select start from, the table name is books, where what we are searching is with respect to the title. So the column name in the database is title is equal to, we are using the post method. So here we are trying to use $_post, which should be in capital, and the title is the text box name what we have given in the insert page for the text box, and one more double quotes has to be given here because in the beginning we had given one double quotes as the query. The next line is if MySQL I_query connecting both the objects, that is con and SQL. If it is happening, we have to print the result, otherwise we have to show an error. This time what has going to happen is we are getting some information from the database. In the insert page, we are trying to give some information to the database by insert command. But here we are fetching the information from the database by select command. So we are going to get the information. So I required one variable, whatever the information I required, I'm supposed to store in this particular dollar result. If this is working, then we are going to project the data in a tabular format. That code later we will write. If not working, the else part has to be handled. The else part can be taken from the insert page, and after doing that, we are supposed to close the connection and close the PHP. So that has been done. And after this, we are supposed to close even the body tag and HTML tag. So till here, if you observe the insert page and the result page, almost everything is the same, except instead of insert command, we have used the select command. As we are getting the information from the database, a object has been given in the if condition to store the result. Remaining all, it is same. Now we are supposed to write the code if I get the result. I'm trying to print the result in a tabular format. So first I'm supposed to create a table using the echo command, and border I'm giving explicitly I should specify. Then the first row I want the headings. So for that, first row started with the tr tag, and as I required the heading th, title of the book, close the th. It is having 3 columns, so one more th, and this time author. Then it will be the publisher, close the th, and double quotes has to be closed and semicolon. Before forgetting the closing of the table tag, we do that. Close the table tag, and remaining part of the code has to be written in this place with the tables. I might be having with the same title a multiple books. So I'm going to get n number of records. So I will be using while. And here the query what we are trying to use is mysqli underscore fetch underscore array, where I got the result, dollar result. As I told you, I might be having multiple records. All that records will be fetched into this, but each record I want to take it and print it. So for that, row is the variable name what I'm using here. So the result will be having multiple records, and when I'm using with the while, each row in a single iteration, it will be stored under dollar row. Dollar result is having multiple rows data, and in each iteration in the while loop, each row is going to store in the variable dollar row, and from the dollar row we are going to fetch each attribute, that is the column names, title, author and the publisher, and putting into a row wise. Using echo statement, open the row, then it is having 3 columns, so echo td dot concatenation operator, we are fetching the information from the dollar row, and the first information is the title, which is the column name in the database, and close the first td. And in the similar way, I have to do it for the author and the publisher. So I just copied and pasted, but we are not supposed to forget to change that here. The second column name is author, the third column name is publisher. And the pending is we are supposed to close the row. Yeah. And till row it will be within the loop. So this much is your code. This part you should understand when I compared with the insert. Otherwise, the remaining everything is the same as insert. So here, as we are going to get multiple rows from the database that has been stored here. So we are creating a table, and the first row just a titles, and from the database result we are taking each row and storing into $row. And within the while loop, for each iteration, we are trying to print in each column of the table on the HTML page. We try to insert a new record, web technology, some XXX author, publisher XXX. Click on the submit button. Search for the web technology. You are going to get that. Once again, we will see that same. Once again, instead of XXX, I try to change here. Web technology, I'm searching. Click on that. So you can see the difference XXX, YYY. Both publishers are different and you got multiple records. As this is in the while loop in the result.php. How I will be knowing the errors? Let me try the name which is not existing in the database and go to the terminal php result.php. So it is showing unknown database test 34. One more change let us do. Remove this and give a space. As I told you, even the space will be considered as a password. So access denied for user root because you are getting showing as a password, that is the space, but we doesn't have any password. So remove this. In the similar way, if I give any spelling mistake here, E, then what happens? I'm saving it. Go to the terminal. Give once again result.php. So it is showing a notice that title is not existing. Here, previously also I got the undefined index when it was correct. Now I'll check the same in the browser. So instead of for technology to change, I'm giving the author and publisher different. I click on that and I check ZZZ. It is not showing. So I should get it out whether it is storing into the database or not first of all. So once again I execute the command. It has been stored here, but I'm not able to fetch it out. So the problem is the communication between the insert and the result page. So I go here. The communication between the insert and the result is only one thing, that is the text box name. Here I had given the title and here it is other thing what I have given here. If there is any error in this first line, it will not execute only, but here it executed, but the information I am not able to fetch it out. So I should understand that there is a mistake with this, whatever the text box name I had given. In case if I forget this one, we will check what happens? Go to here, once again execute. So I'm getting an error in the line number 15. So whatever the errors with respect to the syntactical errors, you can identify in the terminal by giving the command php space filename dot php. I hope you understood the PHP database program.